All right. Hi, Tracy. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, good. Right. I'm going to ask you about your skills for learning online module and what some of the videos that you've put into there. But before we do that, just to set a little bit of context, can you tell me who you are and what your job title is, first of all?
Yeah, my name's Tracey Celestin Radix, and I'm an associate learning developer. I've worked at LSBU now for nearly 4 years. A key part of my role is to deliver academic literacy support to students across schools, where they're able to have one-to-one tutorials with us to get support on their assignments, groups tutorial support, and also workshops which involves aspects of academic literacies like essay writing, critical thinking, presentations.
Okay, so you're very student focused rather than staff.
Yeah, very much student focused.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Okay, all right. Good to understand what your job is and what you do. Why we're going to talk about this module in a second, that's in Moodle. But why did you actually set it up in the first place?
One of the reasons why I decided to set it up was because, well, in my previous role, I used to work as an online tutor where I used to deliver live sessions via webinar. And from getting feedback from students at LSBU, they're always querying why we didn't have resources that they can gain access to 24 hours a day. So this led for me to enhance my skills by learning how to use Camtasia, which I self-taught myself, and create a series of short videos. The shortest video is about 2 minutes. The longest is probably about 6 to 7 minutes, covering areas that students need support in.
Right.
So, for example, presentation skills, how to use signposting techniques and overcome anxiety, because conducting presentations can be stressful for anybody, really, but in particular, I suppose, your students, especially those who have never presented before and having to present in an academic type context as well.
Okay, brilliant.
So, yeah, a range of things, report writing, critical thinking.
And obviously then they can go into Moodle and they can watch this basically anytime they want to, and if they feel like, I need to brush up on my presentation skills, they can go into it. Okay, lovely. All right, shall we have a look at the actual module that you've designed and built?
Sure.
So first of all, it's called Skills for Learning Online.
Yeah.
If a student or even a member of staff wants to access this, how do they do that? Do they go into Moodle and...
Yes, once they log into my LSBU, onto their Moodle page, they will find access to, they'll see Skills for Learning Online.
Okay.
If they don't see Skills for Learning Online, they will have access to enrol onto Skills for Learning Online. That doesn't mean that they're enrolling onto another course as such, but just onto our webpage.
Okay.
Which they will be able to have access to, and it will take them to this page here where they will see academic practices in English language.
Yeah.
And if they click online and in academic skills area, as you can see here,
so you've got quite a few topics.
There's a range of
there's quite a few.
And this one in particular, I'd like to draw your attention to, if that's all right, Chris.
Okay, yeah.
Critical thinking, for most students that I do see here, they tend to struggle with that in terms of writing in an academic context. So what I've done is create a short video about becoming a critical thinker, but there's also slides as well, so that students can follow it at their own pace. And if I open these slides, what I encourage students to do is to use it as a part of the planning process as well for whatever assignment they are working. Naturally, this is it's general for across schools. So all schools students can use it, whether they're studying creative arts, business, applied sciences. So I talk about it in a very general way. So as you can see, there's not that many slides. There's only 5.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do in the recording is talk about the aims of the particular video. So in this instance, I talk about how I'm going to look at arguments and developing ideas, which will lead to critical analysis and evaluation. And then in this box here, which I tend to tell students to use this as a guide as well when they're working on an assignment where they do have to apply critical evaluation, analysis and evaluation. So what is critical thinking? So here I talk about what it does do, and I talk about what it doesn't do. So giving students quite to pinpoint exactly the things that they should be thinking about. So in other words, before they start writing, these are the things that they need to be thinking about, depending on the type of question they've been asked. So, and then next before I do that, actually, in this category here, what I tell students to do in terms of using it as a planning process, in terms of, like, for example, challenging the theory, they may have to apply they will have to apply more than one theory. In here, they can adjust this to cater for their own needs. So they can make notes in here in terms of, like, what theory are they actually going to be challenging and what aspects of it are they not. And making sure that they're not making things fit just for the sake of it, because that's not what critical thinking is about. And then in the next slide, I talk about a general overview of critical thinking. And this example of Lethbridge, I said it's general, but in the video, I talk about what this person is actually saying, and I also challenge how critical it is. So it gets the students, again, to start thinking about criticality. It doesn't matter what level they're at. It can be undergraduate level, or pre-undergraduate, actually, going on to postgraduate. And then in the next slide, I'll give them an example explaining what critical thinking is in more detail by comparing and contrasting, you can see, with Lethbridge and Lodge, but also analysing and evaluating as well. Okay, so with Lodge, what he's expressing is actually challenging some key concepts where he's also referring to cultural backgrounds, language, so very specific with his ideas and helping students, hopefully, to develop their ideas.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's one of the recordings.
Okay, and that's relatively short, just takes 2 or 3, 4 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah, something like that, which I know from my own experience, students really like, just that sort of relatively short, and they don't have to wade through 2 hour video or something like that. Okay, what have you been using this with students at all?
Yes.
What sort of reaction have you got?
It's been really good, to be honest, because students do come up and approach me and say, I've been listening to your video and this has helped. And it also helps them they ask me questions surrounding it. Like, for example, in this particular box here, they might ask me, what do you mean by creating quarrels between people? Or what do you mean by, moving logically?
Right. So it provides a good sounding board.
Yeah. Could you give me more guidance on what this actually means? And the one about emotional, clouding your emotions, because in this particular category, I do get asked about that quite a lot. And what I mean by that, I explained it in the video, but I explain it I give students another interpretation when I see them in real life, because sometimes it needs to be explained in another way. I talk about how, in terms of if you're writing about something that you've got a very strong personal viewpoint on it, it's not to take it too personally, because it's not what critical thinking is about. And I mentioned specific examples within that, sometimes things like gender, religion, politics, the list is endless. We all have our personal views on certain things, but try not to take it to heart, because it's not what the assignment is asking you to do. It's asking to look at theory based on facts in terms of what has been said or what hasn't been said. Brexit is a big one for that.
All right, let's,
yeah. So let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there. We're trying to keep this as a short video.
Yeah.
But I love it. It looks really great. I can see the students love it. This one's around critical thinking, but actually I can see there's quite a few others as well that look really interesting as well. All right, brilliant. That's it really. Thank you for taking time out and talking us through it. It's a great resource that I can see for both students and